Every day, I'm going to pull back the curtain on one system that we use in our real estate business. These are simple behind the scenes steps that help us stay organized, create smooth transactions for our clients, and keep the transactions moving forward. Hey, my name's Laura Lerman, and I'm a realtor, and I help buyers and sellers with their real estate questions in the Atlanta market. And today, I am really excited about the system that we're going to talk about that we use with our clients. Today's insight is all about how we make the process less stressful and more successful. I say that a real estate transaction starts with your emotions. Buying and selling a house is really hard, especially if this is your first time. So, when we are working with our clients, the first thing we hear when we go under contract is, I am so excited. And you know what? So are we. But what I like to say is, we're only 25% excited. When you go under contract, whether you're a buyer or a seller, you're still working the same contract. So you're still the same percent excited, no matter what side of the transaction you're sitting on. When you first go under contract, there is so much that could go wrong, and that contract could fall apart pretty much at any time. So we like to say we're 25% excited. The next stage of your contract is your due diligence period. The due diligence period is where the buyer is going to be able to inspect the property and then renegotiate with the seller based on what they find on that inspection. Once we're through the inspection or the due diligence period, we like to let our clients be 50% excited. We're halfway there. There's still a few more things that could be kind of a question in the contract. That's going to be your financing and your appraisal contingency. That usually ends about day 21 in a contract in Georgia. So that's when we're going to be 75% excited. The buyer has gone through their inspection. Buyer has now gotten approved for their loan, or hopefully conditionally approved for their loan. The appraisal has come back. There's been no problem with that. The next step in the contract is going to be the conditional clear to close from the lender. When we get the conditional clear to close from the lender, I like to say we go from 75% excited to 99% excited. And then I always get the question, why are we not, or when are we going to be 100% excited? And we're 100% excited when cash and keys exchange hands at the closing table when everything is done. And so that is how we help our clients manage their emotions during their transaction. Because if the contract does fall apart for some reason, they're prepared and they have already set their hearts up for that being a possibility. And so it's not as hard and it's not as difficult to go through the transaction when you're capable of managing those emotions. I'd love to know what your real estate questions are. Post them below.